It was good. We're looking at the news right now. NAS has been moving like crazy, pretty much respecting the buy zones and sell zones. Looking at Forex Factory, we do have FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow. So this is going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Super, super important. FOMC red folder news. We're going to see some more volatility in the market. We are going to be live trading as well at 6:30 a.m. So we're going to hop on there, see if we can get a nice position, or maybe just find a setup that's going to be ready for FOMC, right? So since there's going to be more volatility, your price may be able to move a little bit faster to our zones and to our levels. So when it comes to NAS, right now we are still respecting this setup from back here. Once we broke the structure with the full body candle, let me zoom in for you. Once we broke above these highs here with the full body candle, that let us know that we want to continue bullish. We want to keep going up. That's essentially what happened. And then price actually never gave us the retest for a while. Right? Price didn't actually come back and touch this high that was broken. And it did its thing. It flew for a lot of pips, 1,200 pips, and then dropped all the way back down to the same area, respected it, flew, okay, and then came right back down, same area again. So multiple times to capitalize on these trades, and they went for over. This one, the first one was 1,000. The next one was 800. So that's just boom. That's opportunities right there that each and every single one of you are taking advantage of. And if it comes back down there, I wouldn't mind taking another trade, as long as the setup doesn't get violated. But even if it does, there's even more setup right next to it. Right, there's this low, this high, sweep, break above. So technically, like, you can also use this as a stop loss. I close everything out once we broke these highs. Yeah, I close out everything at these highs right here. So I'm waiting for a better position. Price flew for like I think it was like 700 for me. Yeah, like 700 pips. So I'm good. I'm good. I wanted to swing it as well, but I won't be swinging unless we break all-time highs. Right? Yeah, and your exit was my entry. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to get in for the sells, I would have personally got in here, because at this level here, we did break these lows, and we created this imbalance. So if I were to sell this, I would have been in sales right here. Same thing with this. If I were selling, oh, you went long here? That's okay. I mean, I believe there was an entry here as well. I think I saw it this morning or yesterday. Yeah, we had a little setup right here. So you probably entered here, and it was giving some liquidity back and forth with these lows and highs. We swept it, broke above. Price did come back. It even gave another setup, a low, high, sweep, break above here. So it gave you like multiple entries. It did fly for about, I think, 100, almost 100, and then it did drop after that. So I'm assuming you pretty much already took your profit. I'm pretty sure you took your profit already. You're in drawdown, because if you went long here, if you bought here, if you went long, because long means buys. Because price did drop about 400 pips today. Okay, so you're gonna hold the drawdown, which is, I mean, it's still fine. Definitely fine. I believe, let me see, 4 hour. Yeah, because the actual stop loss for this trade is these lows right here. These are the previous week lows. This is also like I'm not sure if it's a strong low because we didn't actually break the all-time highs, but we did break internal structure highs. Yeah, yeah. We never know. We never know. These highs are definitely the target, for sure. But so far we are giving signs that we do want to because we are breaking structure to the upside. 3 times now on the 4-hour time frame, we broke structure 3 times to the upside on the 4-hour. We did respect these lows here. We broke beneath these lows and then we respected it. The same way up here, once we broke beneath these lows, we did respect it. So if I were to sell NAS, I would have sold here. This had no drawdown, and it dropped for about 1,000 pips. And then here, I would have been selling here. So, yeah, this is the 4-hour time frame right here. Yeah, yes sir. And then I would have sold here. Me personally, I like to go with the trend. So, I mean, this is overall uptrending. If you go to like the higher time frame, as we see here, this is an overall bullish trend. So, yes, you can make money selling. I rather just ride the wave of the buys, because when you sell, you have to be a little bit more aware of what's going on. Like price can reverse on you at any time, so your trade management has to be like even more on point. Whereas with buys, you're just managing your stop loss, trailing it, taking partials. It's a little bit more simple for me. But to each his own. We're still bullish on the weekly. We haven't really broken any structure to the downside yet. I mean, maybe we could argue last week, technically we did break beneath these lows, right? If this was the low here, we barely broke beneath with this candle. So that can be an issue. We'll see. But besides this, we're still good. Like these lows are still safe for now. We did sweep these lows here from this wick right there. These lows are still protected. So even if price did drop, I would still be looking for buys, like all right here as well. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to the daily. Again, we are still in the buy zone. Again, we broke these highs right here from this wick. Right, we broke these highs here, right in there. So that's still good. If you draw the Fibonacci from the lows to these highs, we are at the 618 right now. So that's a pretty normal, trade. It's a normal trend, normal retracement, nothing too crazy. And if you look closer, we have this imbalance right in here. We have an order block as well. And price came pretty much directly into that imbalance. And again, here's the fib, just so you see it more clear. So not only did we get a 61.8 retracement, but we tapped into this imbalance. So it's double confirmation. That's more confluence. We're breaking structure to the upside multiple times. So I'm going to continue to add on more buys. That's why I discussed in the beginning, we do have FOMC minutes at 11 a.m. So we're going to be trading at 6:30 a.m. live, trying to see if, price is still in the zone. If it's not, if there's some lower entries, maybe we can wait until the FOMC meeting minutes, allow price to, move really fast and be extremely volatile up and down, and then go ahead and, get a sniper entry. But technically, we still are in the buy zone. This is a clean setup right here. A low, high, sweep, break above, retest. Right, price is giving that retest right now. And then again, once price does get into the zone, the next step is to wait for another setup. Wait for some more liquidity, sweep, break above. Wait for that to happen somewhere here. So between now and tomorrow, FOMC, I want to have already seen something like this, maybe like on the 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, to give me more confidence that this setup here is actually going to hold. Because if we don't get, this confirmation here, then it means that price isn't going to give us what we want to see. But as long as we are within the setup, and then on the 15 minute to the 1 hour, we're seeing something like this happen once more, then we know that, hey, this trade here, this trade here, the overall setup is actually valid. That's the best way to confirm any setup you have, right? So let's say you're taking a trade, price was giving you something like this, lower lows and lower highs, and then all of a sudden we switch from a downtrend to an uptrend because we broke structure to the upside. So when price comes back down into the structure that we just broke, these previous highs all the way to these lows, the best way to confirm that this structure is valid is to wait for another setup to happen within that area. More liquidity, sweep, break above here, and then you take this smaller trade where the stop loss is tighter. You're using these lows instead of these lows. So then this confirms that this setup here is actually valid, and this is the trade you want to take. And then anytime you see this happen after that, just keep stacking your orders. As long as we keep breaking highs, that just gives you more confirmation. Each high that we break above gives you more and more confirmation that we want to, keep taking out the liquidity and, moving to the upside. And that is essentially what's happening here with NAS, because we did break structure on this 4-hour time frame multiple times. Right there, right in here, and here. Yes, for the sells, again, if you're selling, I would have sold here at these lows because we were making higher highs and higher lows, and then we shifted from this uptrend to a downtrend temporarily by breaking beneath these lows. So if you wanted to sell NAS, you would have had to sell from at least here minimum, and the same way as last time. If you're selling NAS from this massive FOMC from last time, you would have wanted to sell at least at the break of structure to the downside, which was no drawdown, right? So right now, again, we are around the 61.8%. If you go from the lows to the highs, price is right here filling in this imbalance. So, this is still in the buy zone technically. I'm personally going to either wait for the setup to present itself to give me some more evidence, or wait for the FOMC and wait for that volatility to come in. Maybe it may come back down to these original setups down here. All right, maybe it wants to sweep, the previous week low or the previous monthly low as well. Maybe it wants to come just a little bit lower, sweep into these areas. That's another sniper entry. But keep in mind, we're still respecting the overall setup. Like, we have a bigger one here, liquidity, this low, this high, sweep. We broke structure to the upside, continuing the uptrend, came back for the retest around the 60%, 50% Fibonacci from these lows to the highs, gave more of the confirmation, more of the setup, and price flew. So if we do come, to me, all this is liquidity. To me, just draw a box around all this. This can all be considered liquidity. So I wouldn't mind if you come right beneath that box, sweep it. All this buy and sell liquidity here, still respecting the original structure setup and then breaking highs. So now not only did we sweep the lows and then we break above the highs, that's massive liquidity that's been building up over the course of a month. Just building up. Boom. That would be even more nasty. So I wouldn't mind something like that as well. We'll see what happens. And then that's with NAS on US 30, very similar, right? I wouldn't mind sweeping these lows here. It just looks too easy. Like, imagine just drawing a box. That's liquidity. That is liquidity, right? Just think of it like literally draw a box. This is what happens with the market. Liquidity, just think of this as lows and highs, and then we sweep the lows, break above the highs, retest, gone. Same thing. The retest can be from the highs all the way to the stop loss, and even a little bit below it. Maybe it will sweep the stop loss and then continue. But this whole area is valid for buys every single time. Within this area, it depends on you. Some people get the Fibonacci, they go from the low to the highs, and they get the discount. Some, they get the break and retest at the top. Some look for imbalances and order blocks or fair value gaps or whatever they want to call it, whatever. They look for anything, but as long as you're within the structure, you're good. You have a pinpoint of what to look for. You're not just guessing and just throwing shit out there, you know? It has to make sense. And right now with US 30, we're literally inside of the setup. On the 4 hour, we have this low that was created, and then we have a high right in there. We sweep the lows, break above, no retest, takes a while, and then we finally get in there. So we'll see what happens. Again, I wouldn't mind taking these lows. I'm looking for the buys under the liquidity from Friday on US 30. Yeah, so this is the, let's see, Friday. Yeah, I'm assuming it's these lows here. This is the previous week low. That's a very good area to look at. Or maybe we're talking about these lows here, right in there. We'll see. Any one of these lows will suffice, but I'm guessing, just if I had to guess, this just looks too clean not to take out. It just looks too clean not to take out. I would love that. A quick sweep and then fly. Right? Same thing with NAS. I mean, of course, I would love to continue these buys right in here. Still wouldn't mind that. And I may even catch something here tomorrow. We'll see based off what the structure gives. Like, let's check out the 15-minute. Right now, we're not really getting any breaks of structure, like to the upside. We'd have to break above, these highs here or these highs like this, because liquidity, we sweep, break above. That's a confirmation for me. But let me see. You said look at the wicks on Friday. These wicks down here. This is Thursday, and then this is Friday. These wicks. There's wicks here. There's wicks here. There's wicks down there. Yeah. There's an imbalance there as well. That's super valid. Right, imbalance, order blocks. This was also the start of the move that brought us all the way back. Like after price came into the zone. If you were scared to take this trade, once you zoom in there on the 15-minute, this is that same area where price broke structure to the upside. Right, it broke these highs with a full body candle, came back for the retest, and took off. And if you use the fib from the lows to the highs, we came back almost to the 50%. But since it was a 382, that meant that this was going to be a very strong up push, very strong trend. And as we see, it indeed was. Price flew over 800 pips. Over 800 pips. Easy work. And again, this was called out. We went over this. We had a 4-hour live trading session. We went over this. We spoke about it. So I know some people. I know Brandon caught this, and a few others. I think you're still holding it too, right, Brandon, as well. But yeah, nasty work. But yeah, if it ever comes back down into sweep these equal lows, tap into that imbalance, that's also valid, and that's also an entry. It's also the setup. If you look here real close, we have lows and highs in here. We sweep that, break above these highs, and we come back to retest once, twice. See how the retest was respected like 7 times, right? We still respected these highs. Right, that's how strong the setup was. It didn't even come down here, and then it flew. That's another reason why I always take a test trade at the break and retest, because sometimes it may not even come down here. Right, you never know. And then it flew from here, over 600 pips. Right, super solid. But now it's working its way back down. It's making lower lows and lower highs. So we all know, in order for the price to go from bearish, right, lower lows and lower highs, in order for it to go from bearish to bullish, we need to break structure to the upside and then continue. So that's what we're waiting for. I'm in no rush. I'm let price do its thing. Again, like I said, between FOMC and New York session, something's going to probably give us some kind of clue. And I also need each and every single one of you on here to be looking at NASDAQ and monitoring it and dropping your markups in the chat. I'm counting on each and every single one of you. I have Baseball, Kid, Brandon, Chrome, Jay Mahia, La Pampera, Manny, Prince, and Waddy. I need all of y'all to, between New York session and FOMC, drop some markups. See if you can find the setup yourself. If you see it, let us know. Maybe I'm not on the charts. Maybe someone else is on the charts. Maybe someone's at work. Maybe someone's at the gym. We all work together. We drop the chart. And there's no excuse for any of us to miss the trade. Or to be, I didn't see it. Like, no, we had 17 markups dropped. We all saw it. So it's all up to us to make it happen. Super clean. And then let me go to, let's see, Bitcoin real quick. SPX, same thing as US 30 and everything else. Very similar. Again, this is the overarching setup. Liquidity, sweep, break above, clean retest, gone, retest, gone, back again. We'll see if this wants to get swept, these lows, maybe tap into some more imbalances down there, right? Give a nice little setup here, boom, take this trade, boom, all-time highs. I wouldn't mind swinging this trade for sure. Right, this one that we took last week, if we would have broke like more significant highs, like some swing highs, some higher low, some lower highs here or here, then yeah, I would have been more convinced. But we still respected the structure here. We didn't really, yes, we broke internals, but we didn't really break the external, which is fine. There's no rush. We'll see. We'll let it do what it does. But then Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin's still up here. It broke back above 100, came right back down. There's plenty of buy setups down here. Technically, this was all liquidity. All these lows to the highs. We just swept barely the lows, and we did break above the highs. The only issue is this is the 4 hour. We didn't really stay up here for too long, but it's still pretty solid. So as price worked its way down, it's technically in the discount range from the lows to the highs. It's already in that 50% area. That's why you see like buyers stepping in here. It's only natural. They're just stepping in. But again, once we get some break above some highs here, that's going to tell us that we want to actually switch from this downtrend here to start accumulating and going up. But again, we got to break above these highs. Otherwise, it's cap. Price may respect the lows. We just broke beneath these lows with a full body candle, and we just came back to balance it out. So if price doesn't, break it back above this, it can continue lower. So we'll see what happens there. These buys played out like crazy. I believe it was on the 15-minute. I didn't take these personally because we were already too high, but I did mark it up on the call, and we had liquidity, right? We swept it, broke above, retested, and then price took off. It took off over 5,000 pips. Super solid, very, very minimal risk. But it was just too high for me. I wanted to get some lower buys, and hey, it may give it to us. We'll see. Now this is technically potentially giving us some distribution. Liquidity here, break above. Now we broke beneath, so we could get a retest to drop into some lower buys down here, as long as we don't break beneath these lows. But this is being like optimistic, because if you look at Bitcoin and like really zoom out, like on the monthly, we did leave this huge monthly imbalance right in there. If you get the Fibonacci from these lows to the highs, then the best buys are going to be back where we broke previous all-time highs, around 73,500, 73.5. The buyers may step in here at the 50%. That's halfway, so you may see some type of rejection at least starting here. Plus it'll be filling in some of this imbalance, so we'll see. And then if you draw the sells from these highs to the lows here, we see that we gotta look better on the 4-hour. Look better here. It came right into the sell area. Like 50% is right here. It was pretty much this area here, the 50%. And as we see, we got a nice reaction. So I mean, it's looking good. We didn't break above these highs either. That's a red flag. We immediately sold off. Not a fan of Bitcoin longs. Everything is pointing for retracement on it, which can bring down. Yeah, I agree. I believe Bitcoin is giving us, it's giving accumulation and distribution at the same time. Distribution is more up here, and the accumulation is more down there. And it started off here as well, but we're not really making any headway yet. We're not really still making, higher highs and higher lows. We're still stuck like higher high, higher low, but we have yet to make that higher high. So something's happening here that's preventing it from happening. Maybe it may come lower, back into the discount range for the buys, which is right down here. And there's more setups here as well. Definitely wouldn't mind taking that. And then on gold very similar. My gold is still having trouble making new highs. Yes, we did take the gold buys yesterday, I believe. Yeah, right here was nasty work. Yeah, TP smacked. Oh, that's why I didn't go off. Yeah, TP smacked here with gold. We got clapped on the buys from this setup and then this setup, because these are both accumulation setups. Got clapped here, and then this one held off. So pretty solid. No drawdown, barely. 1 to 3 locked in, or yeah, essentially. And so for gold though, I did want to catch lower buys, like back down here at 2,500 or 2,550. To me, it's just like nasty imbalance still left. Some inefficiencies, and we got some bullishness, but we haven't really, again, like for the sells, if we would have sold gold, you would have been selling at the structure that we broke, which again had barely any drawdown here, barely any drawdown here. I don't trade gold, only trade it 5 times. I mean, gold is clean. Gold has some nice structure as well. Like as you see here, it respects it very nicely. So we'll see what's happening. I know we broke this structure here, so price is holding above this, and it also held above these as well. So we'll see if we still respect that. I want to see these highs get broken though. Like these highs, I'm still waiting, because that's a low, a high, sweep. Like all this is a sweep of these lows right here. So we swept that. And once we get that break above, that'll be a solid confirmation we want to continue. We already got it last week here once you broke above these highs. So that's why I was pretty confident in the buys, because we had a higher high, higher low, higher high. Once you broke above these highs, we made the higher high. Once we got that retracement, we came back into the order block, imbalance fill, and then we took it essentially back to the highs. So that's a fair trade. That's a fair trade. A lot of people took profit. That's another reason why you see that immediate sell-off, which makes sense. We came back 71% retracement, super clean. So I mean, gold's still looking good. We did break, these highs as well with the full body candle. So we could argue that now we can be looking for the next setup here as well. We can argue that as well. Coming back to the weekly open, respecting this order block here, we can see that may happen. So yeah, I'll be looking at that. We have FOMC tomorrow, red folder news, 6:30 a.m. We're going to be trading live, so we'll be looking at NAS, Bitcoin, gold, seeing if you have any setups. And again, between now and then, do your due diligence, start back testing. I encourage everyone to start sending in more markups, start sending in more examples of the setup, so then I know that you understand that it's making sense. And then if it's not, of course, book a one-on-one and let's get it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Super excited.